Just picture it for a second. It's a perfect summer evening. You're outside, the grill is sizzling, and that amazing smell of a barbecue is just hanging in the air. You know, it's one of the simple pleasures in life. But what if that simple pleasure was hiding a really complex and maybe even harmful secret? Let's find out. Yeah, it sounds like a total contradiction, doesn't it? I mean, you pick out a healthy piece of meat or fish, you make the choice to grill it instead of, say, deep frying it, and yet the very act of cooking it could be creating compounds that are actually accelerating aging deep down at a cellular level. So today, we're going to unpack the science behind how our favorite cooking methods can sometimes turn perfectly healthy food into a source of these hidden toxins. So, the first thing you really need to get is that the problem isn't usually the food itself. Not at all. It's all about chemistry. Specifically, it's about the chemical reactions that kick off when you expose food, especially meat, to really, really high temperatures. And here it is. That's the magic number. That's the temperature where things really start to get interesting. Once you go above 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius, the fundamental building blocks of meat, we're talking amino acids, sugars, creatine, they start reacting with each other to form entirely new substances. And trust me, these new compounds are not the kind you want hanging around in your body. Okay, so what are we actually dealing with here? Well, we've got two main culprits. On one side, you have HCAs. These things form inside the meat itself while it cooks. But then you've also got PAHs. These form when fat drips down onto the fire, creating that classic barbecue smoke, which then sticks to the surface of your food. So you see what's happening? You're kind of getting a double dose of toxins from the inside out and the outside in. So why is this such a big deal? Well, once these compounds get inside your body, they can actually attach themselves directly to your DNA. This creates something scientists call a DNA adduct. Basically, a nasty chemical just latches onto your DNA strand. The best way to think about it is like getting a piece of gum stuck in a zipper. It messes everything up and it stops your genetic code from working the way it's supposed to. This damage can actually force your cells into a state of early aging. It's a direct biochemical line from that charged steak right to a faster ticking biological clock. Okay, I know, that was a lot of bad news. But here's the good news, and it's really good. You have a tremendous amount of control over this whole process. Just by changing how you cook, you can dramatically, and I mean dramatically, reduce your exposure to these toxins. This isn't about giving up your favorite foods, it's just about cooking them a whole lot smarter. This chart shows just how powerful these simple little techniques can be. I mean, look at grilling. The risk is listed as very high. But if you just marinate your meat for 30 to 60 minutes beforehand, you can slash the formation of those HCAs. What about frying? A quick pre-cook in the microwave helps get rid of some of the precursors and just reduces the total time your food spends sizzling in that hot pan. And even something as simple as flipping your meat more often makes a huge difference. Let's just pause on this number for a second. 99%. That's not a typo. Research has shown that marinating, especially with things that are acidic like vinegar or lemon juice, or with antioxidant rich herbs and spices, can prevent almost all of those HECAs from ever forming. The marinade acts like a protective barrier, and the antioxidants in it literally neutralize the free radicals that kick off these nasty reactions in the first place. It is, without a doubt, the single most effective thing you can do. So here it is, a super simple four-step plan to remember. First, marinate. It's non-negotiable. Second, if you can, give it quick pre-cook. Third, when it's on the grill, flip it often. And finally, number four, manage your heat. Keep those big flames from touching the meat directly. These are really simple steps, but they have an absolutely profound impact. But it's not just about how you cook. Some foods, well, they come with their own set of risks before they even get near a flame. So now let's talk about processed meats. Right, so we're talking about things like bacon, ham, sausages, you know this stuff. They're preserved with compounds called nitrites. It's what keeps them looking fresh. But here's the problem. When you heat these meats, those nitrites can react with the natural amines in the protein, and that reaction creates something called nitrosamines. And the science on this is crystal clear. Nitrosamines are known to be able to damage our DNA. You know, these processed meats are actually a perfect entry point to understanding a much, much bigger category of food that has scientists seriously concerned right now, ultra-processed foods, or UPFs. And this isn't just stuff that's been canned or frozen. No, we are talking about industrial formulations that are packed with ingredients you would never find in a home kitchen. Things like emulsifiers, thickeners, and artificial flavors. And the connection to aging here is, well, it's startling. You see, we all have these things called telomeres. They're like the little protective caps on the ends of our chromosomes. They naturally get shorter as we age, and shorter telomeres are a key marker of biological aging. This quote from the Huge Sun Project is just stunning. People with the highest consumption of UPFs had almost double the chance of having short telomeres. That is a direct, measurable link between industrial food and accelerated aging at the genetic level. Okay, there's one more piece to this puzzle we have to talk about, and it's something a lot of us use every single day without a second thought: cooking oil. It turns out the type of fat you cook with matters just as much as the amount of heat you use. The key idea to grasp here is stability. Fats like butter and coconut oil are what we call saturated. Their chemical structure is really stable, really robust. Think of it like a sturdy brick wall. But many of the most popular vegetable oils, like soybean, corn, canola, they're polyunsaturated. Their chemical structure has weak points, kind of like a rickety fence. And when you heat them up, they break apart really easily, they oxidize, and they form all sorts of harmful compounds. When these unstable oils break down, they don't just, go bad, they create a whole cascade of toxic byproducts. And one of the most studied and most damaging is a compound called 4-HNE. This stuff is an incredibly reactive molecule that just attacks our cell membranes and our proteins. It causes widespread oxidative stress and inflammation, which, you guessed it, are two of the absolute core drivers of the aging process. This chart pretty much tells the entire story right here. I mean, you can just see the enormous difference in 4-HNE generation. Coconut oil, which is a stable fat, produces almost none. But then look at canola and soybean oil. They produce exponentially more of this toxic stuff when they're heated. It's such a stark visual of that chemical instability in action, and it really shows why your choice of cooking fat is so critical. So, after all that heavy science, what are the practical take home messages? What does this all mean for you? Well, it's really about building an anti aging kitchen, one that's based on a few core principles that empower you to minimize toxins and protect your cells every single time you cook. It really just boils down to these four things. One, always marinate your meat before grilling. Two, whenever you can, just opt for gentler, lower heat cooking methods like baking or steaming. Three, get in the habit of reading your labels and just aim to reduce foods that have those long lists of industrial ingredients. And four, swap out those unstable seed oils for more heat stable fats like coconut oil, avocado oil, or good old fashioned butter. Look, these aren't drastic life altering changes, but they have a profound cumulative effect over time. So here's the bottom line: your diet is so much more than just calories and nutrients. It's really a constant stream of biochemical information that's communicating with your genes every single day. And that information can either speed up or slow down your biological aging. The power to change that programming is, quite literally, right there on your plate. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next videos.